Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco. Dish out on the movies. And we're reviewing I Know What You Did Last Summer. And it came out, I think, around 2006 or 7.
What?
No?
Safi,
No,
are
it came
you?
out in 1997. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that sounds better. So, this movie was another pick that Safi picked out. You know, I let her just pick out a bunch of random movies. We were supposed to review the Prom Night series, but I thought it would be a lot to do the Friday the 13th series and then do another series. You know, I wanted to do just some random movies. Because doing a series, it gets really old, you know. You're watching like a million movies that all have like a similar story with similar characters, and it gets really old. So like I thought that would be a better idea, and this was the second movie, and I felt like it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say it's one of the better movies we've seen this year.
And I think the reason why was, well, it's a really good story. Well, it's a really simple story, I think, but it's, when you find out who the real killer is, it's not obvious, I don't think.
No.
And it's a real mystery, so it's really buried into the story. And the whole thing is full of very well-known actors. And that's Ryan Philippe, who I don't care for at all.
Ew. He's the worst part of the movie.
Yeah,
I would say, like, he's so unlikable. He just looks like a stereotype with that.
Preppy boy.
I think he has the same sweater that Stu from Scream had on. Like, I think he's wearing the literal exact same sweater.
Yeah.
That white sweater.
It's a white crew neck sweater, or it has a V in it, and it has stripes around the neckline.
And I don't know if they did that on purpose. Like, do you think that they were like, ooh, well, how about in this one we would have one of the good guys wear that sweater? But, you know, technically he's not a good guy because he, you know, they did that cover-up at the beginning, trying to cover up a murder that they supposedly committed. And, you know, this movie, I feel like nowadays there's a dime a dozen movies like this that are trash. And they all use this formula that this movie has. They all have, like, similar characters and just way less good versions of this same story. But one of the reasons why this movie was good is because it was a genuinely well-written movie. Like, it wasn't just, you know, plug in a formula and make a movie. It was, let's do this story that's actually really clever and unique and interesting. That was the idea. And because of that, I think that's why this movie's good. Like, it was original at the time, I think. It was kind of like another Scream movie, but it was better. Or it wasn't better. It was, like, original and fun, and they put effort into it, so I really liked it. I felt like, you know, it's too bad we don't have movies like that nowadays. At the same time, I will also say that it was not very scary.
Well, I know, and it was like, at first, the killer just threatens everybody.
Yeah.
He leaves little notes behind, simple little notes. I know what you did last summer. I still know what you did last summer. You know, I mean, just real simple little things. Or, I wrote them all down, but just basic little notes or message here and there. But then he starts to kill.
Yeah.
And that's when it gets real serious, where it gets scarier, because now it's over. The teasing is over.
And I didn't understand, like, what did that killer hope to accomplish?
I don't
because
know.
Like,
I didn't understand it.
If they went to the police, then they would have been like, you know what, you you hit that guy, but you didn't kill him, and so it wouldn't even be murder that you would get charged with. And then, that guy, he's a psychopath anyway. He's going around killing people. So, like, what did he hope to accomplish? Like, did he didn't want to teach them a lesson. Like, he didn't want them to learn from their mistakes like Jigsaw. He just wanted to kill people?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He,
I mean, I would understand wanting to kill Ryan Philippe because he's trash, but, still.
Well, he said to Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar. I mean, it's a pretty, well-known cast.
It's a stacked cast.
Yes, it is.
Literally.
They've all had tons of experience. And I think it makes a big difference, too.
Well, I disagree because, like, at this point in their careers, I don't think they have much experience. I just think that they were good actors. Nowadays, they focus more on diversity than acting. So, you don't really get good actors anymore. You just get diversity hires, and then you just get generic people. And I'm not saying that, like, just because they're diverse, they're bad actors, but, like, the emphasis on casting is on casting people who supposedly represent everyone rather than casting good actors. And so you have actors like, Jenna Overrated Ortega. And, that's what you get now. Instead of getting a Sarah Michelle Gellar, you get Jenna Ortega. Ooh.
Well, I saw shades of Buffy in there.
Yeah.
She escapes the sheriff's deputy's car and she knocks it out with her feet, and then she climbs through, and all kinds of different, and so I thought maybe she was going to make it, because we still have a final girl syndrome in this movie too, although Freddie Prinze Jr. lives as well.
And this one, it was even worse because, like, she didn't do shit in this movie. Like, all she did was she researched on Google, and then
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
And then she felt bad. Like, that's all her character did. She never did anything badass, and it's like, that's kind of cool because it's, it's more realistic. She's not just knocking down the killers like the girl in Haunt. It's more realistic for her to not do all these badass things, like she's suddenly this powerful warrior. But at the same time, she was just kind of weak. I mean, the only reason that her character was likable was because she was Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually surprised that she didn't do more, because Buffy did, or not Buffy, but Sarah Michelle did lots of Buffy stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I thought she was going to live.
Yeah, I thought she could be the final girl. Oh no, can't do that because I don't know why. I have no idea.
I just didn't think they were going to do that final girl thing.
Oh, I thought they would. I mean, this is one of the this is one of the formula movies that, people nowadays, they look at this movie and they go, "Ooh, we need to make a movie like that, exactly like it, with a final girl." But it's like, in this movie, the journey is kind of about how, like, she should be with her boyfriend and he should protect her. Like, the journey wasn't really about, her becoming a badass warrior or anything. So, but, let's get into the story and talk about, like, what we thought about all the particular events that happened, like the opening sequence with the initial cover-up.
Well, it's interesting because it takes place on the 4th of July, and Sarah Michelle Gellar is queen of the town or something for their festival. They're having a festival. So you have her and Ryan Philippe, they're a couple, and then you have Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. They're a couple, and they're all together. And then you have Johnny Galecki. He's Max, and he likes Jennifer Love Hewitt, but he's not good enough or something, and Ryan Philippe is being mean to him. So those are like all the main actors in the movie.
Yeah, so that kind of made her character unlikable a little bit, and you know what? As soon as they showed her character, the first thing that happens is the guys are commenting on Sarah Michelle Gellar's average boobs, and then Jennifer Love Hewitt is like, what did she say? Like, stop it with the overload of sexism.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as she said that, I was like, final girl. Because that was such a final girl thing to say. Like, oh, how dare they comment on a woman's boobs. Weren't they in high school? Or whatever?
They were graduating.
Yeah, so like, how dare high schoolers comment on a fellow high schooler's boobs? That's never happened before in history, apparently.
So anyway, they have this little thing with Johnny Galecki and Ryan Philippe, and Ryan Philippe is a bully, and he basically knocks him out or knocks him over or something with a punch, and then they leave and they go driving, and Ryan Philippe is drinking. It's just a classic setup for an accident.
Yeah.
It's very a cliche, really.
But then Freddie Prinze Jr. is the one that hits the guy.
He's distracted. And I don't know what happened. The guy just decides to run across the road.
I don't know. I mean, he never answered that either. Like at the end of the movie, when the killer is like, "Arr!" He never actually says like, "Well, I was crossing the road because I had an important meeting to attend to." You know,
he had to go kill somebody.
I had to go find a secret stash of marijuana. You know, like he never had any excuse for why he was walking across the road in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and it's a curvy area. It's near the water. It's so funny because I've been watching these rescue or recover videos where these divers they find out about a missing person who may have gone in the water, and I swear to God, the majority of the cases where they go look for people, the accident happened on the 4th of July. So it's very interesting, and of course, everybody lives near some kind of body of water or a pond nearby, and so here we are. This is the 4th of July, and they're near a body of water, and so they hit him, and then they have this big thing because they don't know what they hit. They think he hit a dog or maybe a deer, or because it was weird. It was dark, and so they find out it's a man. They don't know who it is. His face is all messed up, and they take him to a dock. They decide to take him to a dock. Jennifer wants to call the police, and they decide, and it was not. That was not deliberate. They didn't see him, and I guess it was Ryan Philippe's car, and then Freddie Prinze Jr. was driving because he was drinking. And Ryan Philippe had his head up through, and that's another classic, almost bad thing is those. And I have one in my car too. The sunroof. These people get up and they stick their bodies up to the sunroof and something bad happens. And
like, remember that dumb joke in Vegas Vacation where Audrey stands up and like they close the sunroof on her and then it crushes her stomach as she's standing up? Like, that movie was terrible.
Really bad accidents have happened with that. I mean, just with the person in the sunroof getting caught in there or something. So I'm thinking something's going to happen with that. Because a guy's drinking pure alcohol out of a bottle. I don't think he's drinking wine. I think he's drinking the hard stuff. And so they tell him to get down, and then that's when they run over the guy and they take him to the pier. And so but they want to know who he is. Jennifer wants to know who he is, and that's when all the trouble begins because I guess she gets his wallet out. Or she sees his name somewhere, and then the guy Buffy does it. and he grabs her crown. She's been wearing her crown. It's a really nice crown all this time, and he grabs it. And they throw him over in the water, and Ryan Fleet jumps in there because he's a big bully, and he actually trains with a bag and punching bag, and so he gets the crown back, and so that's after that. That's when and a year later, that's when all the trouble begins. So like Jennifer Love Hewitt, I guess she gets a note when she comes home. It says leaves it at her mother's house, and it says, "I know what you did last summer," and that's where it begins. And
at that point again, what did that killer hope to accomplish with that?
Know.
Like, what was he thinking? Like, was he just hell bent on killing them, or what?
I don't know. And then Johnny Galecki, of course, Ryan Philippe, because he doesn't like him. He thinks he is doing it, and so of course he beats the crap out of him. But guess what happens to Johnny Galecki? The murderer kills him. He had nothing to do with it at all. But he kills him at his job. And
yeah, that was weird too. Why did that guy have to get killed?
I don't know.
That was bizarre. I thought that maybe, like, what they were going to do is, like, frame one of them or something. Like, have it be where, like, he's killing off the people, and then he, like, frames one of the other people for the murder or something, and, like, then they would get framed for that murder anyway that they didn't actually commit. I don't know. Like, I was just kind of like, this is a fun story. It was fun. It was very fun. I really enjoyed it. I really, it was a little, and one thing though is that it was a mystery. It was largely a mystery, more than like a slasher or a horror movie. And it kind of made the movie feel a little bit longer. Like, because didn't it feel like longer than an hour and 30 minutes, even though it was only an hour and 30 minutes?
Yeah, but I appreciated the mystery. I never figured it out.
Well,
they don't figure it out until the end.
Yeah, I didn't figure it out. So.
And of course, Anne Hesh, who I don't like.
She's the greatest.
She's in there.
She's the best.
She's a weirdo.
She's the best part of the movie.
You think she has something to do with it? She's just insane.
Yeah. She's the best part of the movie, like everything that she's in, and
she's from Ohio, and she grew up with her family. I think they lived in a car.
Well, she's the best part of the movie. It's too bad that she wasn't the Sarah Michelle Gellar character, because I really feel like one of the weaknesses in the movie is this whole formula. In Scream, those characters were very well defined. Like Randy was Randy, and Dewey was Dewey, and Sidney was Sidney. But in this movie, when you look at Sarah Michelle Gellar, you kind of think like, she should be kicking this killer's ass. She should be, kicking him in the nuts and then just punching him in the face until he's like, no, please stop. But instead, she's playing this, like, different character, and it doesn't feel right. And
she screams a lot.
Freddie Prinze Jr., he's kind of like an outcast in this movie, and
he's very quiet.
Yeah, that was surprising, because, like, he's known for this movie, and, like, usually he's very, very, like, he's like a leader. He's like the lead guy.
Yeah,
Safi.
I don't know. I was surprised, too, that he was so quiet. He didn't have a lot of lines, and he was really like the strong, silent type.
Yeah.
He would say a few things here or there, but he never really... At the end, I guess he said a few more words, but because he was trying to save Sarah, not Sarah, but the other girl, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and
the survivor
and
girl.
And himself.
And by the way, this is another movie where it's like, I'm pretty sure that Jennifer Love Hewitt's character was not a virgin, so I don't understand, like, see, this whole formula thing is stupid. What?
There's a formula, and so it didn't go exactly like.
Well, it's
formula.
like this movie shows that, like, you shouldn't be doing a formula because this movie didn't follow that formula. It just did what it needed to do to tell this good story.
Yeah.
It was a good story. It was very entertaining. I would watch it again. But the only thing is, like, I don't know why they made sequels because... Ugh.
I don't know. I thought I had seen this movie, and I'd never seen it before.
Originally, for some reason, I saw the second movie first. And it was a really dark day where we were on a vacation in, I don't know, whatever random place. And the only movies I had to watch were Pirates of the Caribbean 3 and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And boy, was that a shitty movie selection to have. Like, wow. You got shit movie 1 and shit movie 2. And then the breakfast was cold. You know, we got breakfast from the restaurant. It was ice cold, like gross cold eggs, and it was terrible. It was like torture. And the movie was like they're at a resort or something, and like just fuck off. Like, this is one of those ones where I genuinely am like, why did they make a sequel? It doesn't make sense at all.
Really? Because it doesn't... I mean, this was a good movie, a good standalone movie.
Yeah.
That needs a sequel. But, you know, if you're just looking at people who want to make more money, so...
Well, the only thing I could see is, like, if they did another story, like, with other characters... Like, maybe it would be the same type of story where a group of people commit a murder and they cover it up, and that could be the sequel, but not these same characters. That doesn't make sense. Safi?
Oh, so it was the same characters.
Well, pretty much. Jennifer Love Hewitt, I believe, is in...
She's in all of them, right?
All of them, I think, and which was sad because... I don't know why she had to do all those. I guess for the fans.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone else is... Well, I don't think Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in any more movies.
How about Sarah Michelle?
She died.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She couldn't be in any more. She died. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you watch the movie?
Yes, Marco. I watched every minute of it.
I'm taking your word for it.
Oh, God. So anyway, God, I don't know what to give it. I think I just... Are we going to do food reviews now?
Oh, don't we have anything else to say? Well, The Killer, I did get a little confused because when she would go on the internet and look up the answers to the mystery on Google, I was getting really confused because...
Yeah, I had to watch it a couple times.
It went by so fast.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I had to read she was reading a newspaper article about this girl's accident. And that's when she figures out it's not, they did not kill, she thought they killed somebody named, because even the police misidentified him. She thought she killed somebody named Egan. And that's who Anne Hesh was supposed to be his sister. But they didn't. They didn't kill anybody. Because what happened was they hit this father of a daughter who, I guess, Egan accidentally killed her. And he was mad about it. And so he was mad at them because they left him and he got out of the water. He was okay, I guess. And that's what he was getting his revenge on them. Yeah. She looked that up and she realized it wasn't the Egan guy they hit in the road. It was the father, and that he survived.
Yeah.
But I had to read it a few times because it did go by. It went by a little too fast.
Yeah, it went by very fast, and it's not that we're idiots. It's just that it went by very fast.
And it was an embedded mystery. I mean, it wasn't real simple to figure out. what happened. At least not for me. Usually, I mean, I have watched and listened to and read so many mysteries. I mean, right now in my hoopla, I have 3 books checked out. One you read by turning the pages, computer pages. The other 2 you listen to. One of them is a Tony Hillerman book, and the last one is, guess what? It's the story Delicato or Delicate that American Horror Story show is based on. So I'm reading, like, that's what I do. So, at least at the minimum, I'll have 2 books on my docket, and I just go from one to the next. So I read them all the time, and I couldn't figure out who was who and who did what, and so I thought they hit it pretty well.
Yeah, it was a little distracting.
It's not easy.
It was a little distracting because the killer looked a lot like someone who we've met before. And so he looked exactly like that guy, right, Safi?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know.
No, I don't.
The stamps guy.
You think he looks like him?
Yeah. And so that was pretty hilarious. It was kind of distracting, but anyways, like, yeah, it was just a pretty good movie. Like, it was much better than Haunt. You know, can't you see, like, the quality difference of, like, Haunt versus this?
Yeah.
In terms of, like, Haunt was using a formula. This movie...
This has more of a story.
It had a story, and it had...
more character development.
Good writing.
At least for... Well, I'd say for all of them, they have a pretty good character development.
Yeah.
It's kind of brief, but it's still... You know, there's character, and I mean, it's like to the point Ryan Philippe character, you don't like it at all.
No, he's the worst, and I thought it was cool. Another thing that, you know, they never would have done nowadays was that he actually survived a lot longer than you expected.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, is he going to be able to defeat the killer too? Like, usually in these types of movies, you know, he would just get killed right off the bat, you know, because he's the bully guy. So.
But I think that was the method, because the guy was just going around leaving all these messages first, before he started killing. So he kind of taunted them for a while.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen.
And that was cool too.
Yeah. That was a good method to add to it, because it made it to where it makes it more mysterious and interesting. So instead of just going out and killing everybody right and left, and then you're ending with the final girl, and that's the end of the story.
Ugh.
You know, and that's just boring.
Yeah, very boring.
After a while.
And really, like, not original too.
No.
Like, this movie, you can pretend like it had some sort of a formula, but it was really original. It was really like, it wasn't just doing a formula like these modern horror movies. So, as I said before, they don't learn the right lessons from these good horror movies. They take all the wrong lessons. Like, after they made this movie, what do you think the lessons that they took from the movie were? There's got to be a mystery and a twist. There's got to be a final girl. And it's got to be about teenagers and teenage problems. And it's got to have comedy, references. Those were the lessons they took from this movie.
I suppose. I don't know.
Well, wouldn't you think that? Like, because, you know, dumb studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they also used better known actors, too. So, you know, remember Johnny Galecki, before he did that science show, that sitcom, he was doing that.
Safi, I don't know who that is. I don't know why you keep on saying Johnny Galecki as if I'm
Max, the guy who played Max.
Yeah, but who is that guy? Like, I don't know who that guy is. Like, that guy means nothing to me.
Red herring.
No, I mean the actor. Like, that actor, he means nothing to me.
He was the brother.
He was the brother?
Yeah, that was the brother.
Oh.
So he started out in that, and then he went to that science show, which was a sitcom. And,
science show. Big Bang Theory?
Yes, he was in Big Bang Theory.
Gross.
I think he owns an orchard. He's really good at saving his money.
Ew.
And,
of course, you love that show.
Well, I watched some of it. I didn't watch it regularly, no. It was funny.
Yeah, in your opinion.
Well, whatever. Anyway,
well, now I know why you're so obsessed with Johnny Galecki. Like, you keep on saying his name. Like, what the hell is a Johnny Galecki? Like, it just sounds like a shitty shoe that, like, you wouldn't want to wear.
Oh, Marco, come on.
It's true.
Okay.
Like, isn't there that one brand called Johnny Was?
Yeah, those are really good. That's really good clothing. And it's
Okay.
very, very expensive.
Okay.
Extremely expensive. It's very well made and embroidered clothing. They have really ornate designs and really neat clothing. I can't afford any of it.
Well, what's your food review for this movie?
Wow. I was just thinking it's really kind of a full meal.
Oh, that's original.
Like a chicken dinner with corn and gravy and chicken and...
what do those elements represent and why?
They just represent all the, and they represent all the different, like the actors and the story and the little surprises with the notes left behind, which dragged out the suspense. And when you watch it, you're satisfied. I think it was a tiny bit long, I think maybe. But still, I mean, he had to leave all those notes around first. Didn't each one of them get a note? Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe Freddie Prinze Jr. didn't get a note. But, like, even Anne Hesh got a note, remember?
Yes.
She said, what did she thought her brother committed suicide.
Yeah.
And she said she hid it because if the insurance company had found out that she wouldn't have gotten the money. Because it's one of those in life insurance policies where if you commit suicide, they don't let you have the money. And his what's left, and but it was in the same kind of printing and the same brief note that all these other people had gotten. Teaser note. It was sent to her, but she didn't know, and she told Jennifer, and then she told her to leave because I just think she didn't want anybody to find out. Because she had collected this money, and she thought her brother had committed suicide. But anyway, he was murdered, so she would have collected the money, the inheritance, whatever, the insurance policy money, because he didn't commit suicide, right? The guy probably killed him.
Yeah, he got killed, yeah.
Yeah, by the father of the daughter. Because she said that everybody in town was mad at her brother because of what happened to the daughter. What happened was I guess it was 4th of July, and they did this thing I told you about all the accidents where they recovered bodies in the water. It was on 4th of July, and they went in the water, and he lived and she died. And that can happen. Somebody gets out, but the other one gets left behind. So, anyway, so it was a complete movie. There was, what was it that we thought, we still, don't get why the father would, except he's just crazy. That's all you can say, but, what does he think he's going to get out of it?
Yeah, what was he trying to do? Like, did he want them to learn a lesson? Because
when they're all dead, they're beyond learning a lesson.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to kill all of them.
Well, I would say, too, like, this is one of those movies where you'd be glad to see it in theaters. You'd be glad to pay full ticket price in theaters.
Yeah.
And you can't really say that about any movie that comes out nowadays, so...
No.
That's another element that's missing, I think. Like, maybe with every new movie we watch, we should ask the question, would this really be quality, be enough to see it in theaters and pay ticket price for it? Because I think, like, the majority of movies that I saw, I would not pay for and watch in theaters. Safi?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good question. You know, we've had the thing where there's so many holes, we've had to write the story for them, which is absolutely insane.
That's like a typical thing now. Like, we have to write it for them. It's like a workbook activity.
Yeah, there's so many holes that it's like going on a road where there's potholes everywhere, and you're trying to navigate the potholes, and you don't miss some of them, you go through them. That's what some of these stories are like.
And then people still defend it.
Yeah, and so this was more complete. That's what I said. So when after you watch it, you're pretty much satisfied. And we make this good chicken dinner.
Well,
pretty much mashed potatoes and gravy, corn, and
that's your food review.
And chicken. That's just one example, but it's just a meal that you're satisfied after you eat it. So what about you, Marco?
Well. I am gonna give my food review.
Go ahead.
KFC. You get a big meal from KFC. Because whenever we used to go out and eat KFC for dinner sometimes.
Yeah, we did.
And whenever I did that, for some reason, I'd always watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
We got a bucket.
So...
a bucket of chicken.
Oh yeah, we get a bucket with sides that were what they now call large sides, which they're not really large at all. They're like regular sized, and
yeah, they're really not much bigger than a.
So for my I Know What You Did Last Summer meal, first off, you got the drink. And now, KFC is retarded, so they took away root beer forever.
Which it makes no sense at all.
So really, you're just stuck with, like, these shitty drinks, like, you could get
Pepsi.
A Pepsi or a Sierra Mist or Mountain Dew Sweet Lightning. So let's just say I get a Freddie Prinze Jr., which is a Pepsi. Now, Pepsis, I'm not really a huge fan of. You know, they're very just meh.
I like it, but it's very acidic.
The taste really isn't worth it for me, for all the sugar and the calories and the, it's just not really worth it. If I have all that, I want to have something that tastes worth it. And so Freddie Prinze Jr. is the drink. He is the Pepsi, the medium Pepsi. Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sarah Michelle Gellar are the chicken. They are the breast and the leg, and I guess Jennifer Love Hewitt has to be the breast because she is the final girl. But the drumstick is Sarah Michelle Gellar, and the thing about drumsticks is drumsticks are a lot better than breasts.
They are,
and
actually.
So
I've always got like the 2-piece meal. That's just a drumstick and wing, and that is really good.
Yeah,
I really liked it. I ordered 1 million times.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the breast KFC, because I just it's a lot of meat, and I prefer like that little drumstick where it's just very tasty and it's got the crispy skin and it's a perfect little thing, and that is Sarah Michelle Gellar. And now the mashed potatoes and gravy, I guess, have to be the killer. Because the killer was good, and the story with the killer was good, and the mystery, I guess the mystery is the gravy. Now, finally, there's 2 last elements in a regular KFC meal. You have the buttermilk biscuit.
Which is not good.
The buttermilk biscuit is Anne Heche's character. And now, she was really good. She was the best part of the movie.
I didn't like her. I don't like her.
She's always the best. And, lastly, the cookie. Ugh.
Ew.
Ew.
Cookie's gross.
For some reason, like, the cookie at KFC sucks now.
It's too moist.
So, I would say that the cookie is Ryan Felipe.
Ugh.
And you know what I do with KFC cookie? I throw it in the trash. So... because it's gross. It's garbage. Not my cookies, so, I'm fine with just eating a buttermilk biscuit and everything else in the meal and forgetting all about the cookie. Safi?
Okay, well, I don't eat the cookie at all. It's too sweet and it's like mush.
It's greasy, too.
And then
it's
buttermilk
gross.
biscuit. I make my own biscuits, so they don't measure up to mine.
Well, no, actually...
they're too salty.
No, Ann Hesh is better than yours.
Okay, well, whatever. They're salty and they're overprocessed.
Yeah, and your face is overprocessed.
I don't like her, so... But she did a good job in this.
She's the best part of the movie. She should have been in a Texas Chainsaw movie as well, I think. Because, like, the way that she was in the movie, she would have been good as the member of the Texas Chainsaw family.
Yeah, well, who knows about her?
And so, I would say this movie was really good. And that's that.
Alright, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers so you can tell us if you've seen this movie and what you thought about it, and did you see any of the other sequels to it? And have you seen any of the other actors in anything else? Like, did you see Buffy? Did you see, the show that Jennifer Love Hewitt did?
Ghost Whisperer?
Yep, that was good. I could watch that show. It was good.
Well, she also was in the shitty Garfield movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was bad. So, Safi?
So, goodbye, everybody.
Bye!